What follows is a brief construction montage.
Flashback. End of flashback. Soon after montage.
Yesterday, meanwhile, back in the lowlands, a few moments later, more moments later, later, in the void, a little later, much later, much later, much later, much later, the following Thursday, later that same evening. Just then, by sheer coincidence, 12 o'clock midnight, 3:28 a.m., 7:59 a.m., 8:01 p.m., 10 seconds later, 12 seconds later, 1 minute, 37 seconds later, 2 very boring minutes later, 5 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 11 minutes later, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, a few minutes later, a little longer than a few minutes later,
1 hour later!
Unbojih software, the ad routes never stops with an operating system.